Elation and jubilation gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian and this is the World Gamer Show. And today we're going to tackle down one nice fighting game that hardly ever gets talked about, at least during this generation of consoles. Everybody always commenting about which is the best among Tekken, Street Fighter or even Guilty Gear, but hardly ever mentioning or even considering one of the better contenders in my opinion, SoulCalibur 6. And today we're going to talk about the PlayStation 4 version. How does it fare compared to the previous entries? Well, let's find out.
Stage of history.
And ready! Soul Edge is more powerful than ever before.
Fate has chosen you.
Soul Blade was one of the first 3D fighting games hugely focused on weapons. And if it wasn't really the first one, come on. I want to know who among us can honestly say that Battle Arena Toshinden is a better weapons-based 3D fighting game series. I mean, it can still be fun, of course, but nothing compared to Soul Blade, at least in my opinion. On top of that, it was also one of the first fighting games to offer a huge amount of single-player content, also in no small part thanks to the Edge Master mode. A huge single-player RPG-like campaign where you could travel around the world, challenging formidable warriors and powering up your character. After achieving remarkable success in the arcades in the middle 90s, especially for being a new IP, the second installment of the series, instead of being called Soul Blade 2, swapped the name for an even more cool-sounding SoulCalibur, and was released in 1998 in the arcades with an enhanced home port for Dreamcast the following year. And since its release back then, the success has been unstoppable. However, depending on the episode taken into consideration and on whom you ask, you might say that cracks were beginning to show as time went on. Between some highs and lows and some roster submissions, we've reached
SoulCalibur 6.
And fans can rejoice. This is the SoulCalibur they know and love, intact in its combat system, based on good timing and outmaneuvering your opponents, with few new mechanics thrown here and there to make it at least a little bit stand out from the previous episodes and the competition. The combat system is very similar to the previous episodes. You have your fast horizontal and heavy vertical weapon attacks, your kicks perfect for space control, throws to deal with overly defensive adversaries, and the blocking button. Combine all this with the 8-way run system to perform fantastic attacks and combos. The guard impact returns from SC5 and as usual allows you to better deal with overly aggressive opponents. There is literally a mechanic for every situation and type of players, leading to a well-balanced fighting system. And that's how I like it. There is also a new interesting mechanic that reminds me a lot of the classic Chinese rock paper scissors game. No, not that one, thankfully. If a particular special blow connects with the opponent, the scene will slow down and each one has a chance to press a specific attack button and see if they connect, or you can even dodge it and counter-attack. I'm kinda mixed on this one because it artificially slows down the pace of the battle, but at the same time it sort of gives more variety to the match, while not being as intrusive as, say, any other anime fighting games with their extra long super moves animations that take forever.
It's time to stop!
So yes, think of it as a sort of middle ground. Speaking of characters, this is quite a roster. 21 fighters are available, among which, and thankfully this time, many returning fan favorites like Mitsurugi and Taki, and even new faces like Grow and Aswell. SoulCalibur 6 also continues the long-running tradition of guest characters, and this time they managed to include one of the best guests ever, Geralt from the Witcher series.
Come on.
It is definitely one of the better choices they ever did. After some ups, like Link in the GameCube version of SoulCalibur 2, to some pretty lame lows that didn't fit well at all into the SoulCalibur universe, like Spawn or even Yoda and Darth Vader from Star Wars. If you are a Witcher fanatic, the inclusion of Geralt is worth alone the ticket price, I'm sure of it. Overall, I'm happy that the core cast has returned, as I couldn't imagine another chapter without Sophitia or Seong Mina. But what can you do with these characters? Well, content offering has never been a problem for the SoulCalibur series, and this episode continues this positive trend. We of course have an online mode, where to bring your favorite characters to compete against friends or complete strangers. The online community is still alive and kicking, and indeed they kicked my butt all the time. Even though I wished that matchmaking was a little bit quicker. However, once in battle, I didn't experience any lag even with opponents whose connection wasn't as fast as mine. You can of course engage in casual and ranked matches, and even invite your online friends to play. While the online experience is what will usually keep you coming back for more, there are also numerous and lengthy single-player modes.
You are out of your league.
Aside from the usual arcade mode, we have the Libra of Souls, which is the classic RPG mode of previous iterations like the Edge Master mode of the unforgettable first Soul Blade. In here, you create your own character and fight under specific and different conditions in the story-driven mode, in which you also have some small management options like making your character rest or eat a meal. It even shows the amount of damage during battles to further show the RPG nature of the mode. One thing that I love is that you're given the option on how to progress in the story, like which side to take, if good or evil, and this actually has a huge impact on the plot itself. Even more story-driven is the Soul Chronicle mode, which actually dives deep into the SoulCalibur lore and presents a sort of story mode for each and every character present in the game. Yes, even Geralt. There is also a more general plotline, aside from that specific to any single character. These two story-driven modes should take you around 8 hours overall to complete. The story, however, is presented in a visual novel style, with just few in-game cutscenes. So if you're not a fan of visual novels, you might not like this stylistic choice, which is probably more due to a budgetary reason. I just wish there was an option to adjust the size of the subtitles, because it's really eye-stressing to read them when they are small like this. However, when we speak of actual in-game presentation, I think everybody can agree that this game looks the part. The character models are all extremely detailed, and their movements feel natural and quick. The stages are also very well done, even though I wish there were more interactive elements maybe. The variety, however, is top-notch, and no arena feels the same. The game reaches its most wow factor when the particle effects invade the screen, especially when a super move is performed. All of course is presented in steady 60 frames per second, with very few drops only during non-interactive scenes. Seeing this game in action is really a spectacle, and you can clearly see that this is where all the presentation budget went on, compared to the visual novel side of the story, which is totally fine by me. I'd rather have better in-game graphics with a stable frame rate than a super needlessly elaborated story mode. Of course it would be even better if it was both, like in the case of the most recent Mortal Kombat games, but still, I really can't complain. There is also the creation mode, that allows you to, guess what, create your own original character, or even customize the existing ones. The amount of level that you can edit your character is really remarkable. It's truly one of the deepest character editors that I've ever seen in a fighting game. You can change anything ranging from the body type, the face details like eyebrows, but also some secondary aspects like the winning and versus screen poses, or even phrases that the character can say before and after the match. I've had a ton of fun creating these characters, and somehow they all seem to fit well into the SoulCalibur universe, even though they are completely original and unofficial. It's definitely an A+ in this department. So to come full circle and answer the question at the beginning of the video, does it still hold up? Yes, and until probably and hopefully the next main installment of the series comes out, this is still one of the finest SoulCalibur experience fans of the series and of fighting games in general can get their hands on. Thanks to the various and lengthy single player content, many unlockables, and a healthy and engaged online community, I'd say there was never a better time to pick up and play SoulCalibur 6, and I foresee that this will have a long life ahead. Long live SoulCalibur! But now I want to know what you guys think of it. Did you ever play SoulCalibur 6? Did you ever play any of the other games in the series? Which one is your favorite? Share your thoughts and comments or memories in the comment section down below. And also if you enjoyed the video and feel like helping me out, maybe consider liking, subscribing and sharing the video around. But no pressure at all. I just want to thank you very much for sticking to the end of the video. I'll be seeing you in my next one, but until then, stay safe, play safe, world gamers.